The Westminster Mall is a mall in Westminster, California that opened in 1974. If you've clicked onto this video, then you know what today is. It's Monday, Mall Madness. Every Monday I'll be releasing a new video on a defunct or maybe not so defunct mall and its history. Make sure you stick around to the very end of the videos. I'd like to see if you, the viewer, are paying attention. So if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button for my latest mall video, defunct store, occasional throwback Thursday, or soda history. Leave a suggestion about a future video or memories of this mall. Thanks. In the 1920s, the world's largest goldfish farm was relocated to the area where the mall stands today. Construction of the mall began in the 1970s. The Westminster Mall opened for business at approximately 9:30 in the morning on August 7, 1974. The three original anchors included May Company, Sears, and Buffum's. In 1975, J.W. Robinson's was added as the fourth anchor. If you went to the mall in the 1970s to the 80s, you might remember the Mall Cine Fourplex, which opened on August 7th, 1974, and was located on the inside of the Westminster Mall. The UA Theater also had a twin on the outside. You may also remember Card America, a greeting card and gift shop that competed with Hallmark, or maybe even Carl's Toys and Hobbies. So what are some of your memories of this mall? Leave a comment below. In the 1990s, the mall's three anchor stores actually changed their names. Buffum's closed in May of 1991 due to the chain being liquidated. By January of 1993, Robinson's and May Company merged to form Robinson's May. As a result, the May Company store was rebranded Robinson's May, and the J.W. Robinson was closed as one of the 12 Robinson's and May Company stores, closing as part of the merger. The closed Buffum store became a Robinson's May home store in March of 1993, and in November of that same year, the closed Robinson store became a JCPenney, which had relocated from the Huntington Center Mall. In 1990, the original mall cinema was taken over by Edwards Cinema. In 2002, the Robinson's May home store building was closed and torn down for a new Macy's. When Federated Department Stores, now Macy's Inc., purchased Robinson May and other May Company names in September of 2006, Macy's moved into the Robinson's May building, and the former Macy's location soon became a Target. 2008, the mall underwent a renovation, relocating the carousel and constructing a play area in its place. The grand reopening was on November 15, 2008. The Sears closed in April of 2018, making it the last original anchor store to close. As of January of 2021, the space is still vacant. Today, the 1.2 million square foot mall features anchor stores JCPenney's, Macy's, and Target, with one vacant anchor space left. Today, I decided to make a visit to Westminster Mall. It was actually my first visit to this mall, and from what I heard, it was a dead mall, so I decided to see for myself. So after poring over the mall directory, and yes, I do that from time to time, I noticed that there weren't a lot of stores at the mall. Someone commented that they Googled it but couldn't find it. It is in fact still here. When I first pulled into the parking lot, I saw the old JCPenney, which looked a lot like the old Robinsons at the Puente Hills Mall. When I got there, I was treated to the sound of a car doing donuts in the parking lot, kind of the same kind of welcome I got when I went to the Puente Hills Mall. Upon entering through the JCPenney side, I saw the unique building in the center of the mall. I had never seen anything like that before. The mall was pretty quiet, given that it was on a Saturday afternoon. The mall reminded me of Puente Hills Mall, in which this mall should have been really busy, given that it was on a Saturday. The mall had a gym, which was pretty empty as well. When talking to the merchants, I asked if this mall was closing. Most said they didn't know. Maybe they were just saying that, but why was everyone having a store-wide sale on all of their merchandise? When I go into the mall nowadays, I pay attention to the architecture. I thought this mall was pretty cool. The Bath and Body Works is still there, and they occupy the old Charlotte Russe building. It looks like the Target was closed, but I heard that they had closed the mall entrance to Target due to the fact that there was a smash and grab armed robbery at the jewelry store, and the suspects ran through the mall and through the Target to get away. In response, Target closed the mall entrance permanently. Many of the stores around Target were closed. Although the mall seemed pretty empty, there was quite a few stores that were still in this mall, including Kay's Jewelers, Aeropostale, Victoria's Secret, Foot Locker, GameStop, and Hot Topic. As I was walking the upper level towards the Sears side, I noticed more and more empty shops. You can't miss the John's Incredible Pizza on the floor below. There was also a couple of restaurants that were gone from the food court. The Sears had closed in April of 2018 and has stood vacant since then. The former Sears entrance was covered by a mall sign. The shops below were empty as well. Another thing that I noticed was that the escalators were turned off. Only one was working. Cube sits next to the Bath and Body Works. The stores below them are vacant. As I was walking towards the Macy side, you can see the Scorpion Jewelers, as well as more empty buildings. Some of the stores must have closed recently because the signs were still there. There are still some big attractions to this mall though. The mall has a carousel, much like South Coast Plaza, as well as the malls like Carousel Mall in San Bernardino and Puente Hills Mall in Industry. In fact, the carousel was completely empty, and they were running the thing. Apparently they were trying to save electricity by not running the escalators nearby. The Luxe Buffet, which takes up a good portion of the top part of the mall, was enormous, but upon checking, the only customers was a single party of 15 people. There was no one else there. Here are more empty stores. Here is a look at the former Robinson's May store on the outside and what it looks like now as Macy's today. YouTube channel Melissa640 mentioned she remembered the red carpet on the ramp on the Buffum side. I walked downstairs to check out the carousel. Again, it was empty. Most of the bottom stores were closed on the Macy's side. And as you can see, very little people at this mall. There were more empty stores, including another Hollister's that closed. I struck up a conversation with a customer who had worked at this mall and had been coming here since the 1980s. She proceeded to give me a history of this place, and this was her go-to mall. Other viewers to my previous video commented how this was their childhood mall. I talked to another merchant and they told me that the mall would be closing in 2025. I recently read an article published in April of 2023 that the Macy's in Westminster Mall could be transformed into a collection of residential townhomes and a 2.5-acre public park with an amphitheater for summer concerts. Among the other stores was a Foot Locker and a Small Wonders store. As I continued to walk, I saw the recently closed John's Incredible Pizza, which closed in 2023 due to the mall management to repurposing the space, only leaving Buena Park and the Carson locations. Meanwhile, the Sears wing of the mall could become a row of market-rate apartments with manicured landscaping and swimming pools. The current Sears parking lot site could morph into a 3-star hotel with a pool, spa, and an outdoor lounge. Potential plans by the Irvine-based developer Shop-Off Realty Investments have submitted to Westminster for its 26-acre portion of the 1.3 million square foot 100-acre Westminster Mall. The mall currently has 4 owners who all have their own ideas with their piece of land. The Bolsa Pacific at Westminster plans to develop a thriving mixed-use community of multifamily homes with walkable community spaces, restaurants, retail, and a nearby hotel. Their plans also call for nearly 1,100 market-rate contemporary-styled apartments, more than 100 for-sale residential townhomes, a 175-room hotel, a 2.5-acre park, a dog park, pickleball courts, and a 25,000 square foot of retail restaurants and a food hall. The redevelopment comes as malls have become déclassé in the internet age, where customers can easily shop online and have items delivered straight to their homes. The plans will start sometime between early to mid-2025. As I walk through this mall, it is really sad to hear that the mall will be closing. Most of the retailers at this mall are having some sort of store-wide sale. The larger name brand merchants such as Zumiez and Victoria's Secret will continue at other locations and hopefully find jobs for the displaced employees, but it's the mom and pop stores who suffer greatly. This is their livelihood, who will have to find another place or just go out of business. Oh yeah, the Orange Julius, as well as the longest surviving tenant, Spencer's, closed at this mall. First off, I want to say thank you to all of you who have watched my videos in the past, especially about the Westminster Mall. Thank you to all of you who have left comments with their memories, extra information, as well as criticisms about this mall, or maybe my video. I decided to make it a point this year, being 2025, to stop by this mall before it closes. I've heard news that the city wants to redevelop the mall into a mixed use of industrial, residential, and entertainment. It's kind of the same old story that you hear at all of the malls that are considered dead malls. Buena Park, Puente Hills, and the Village at Orange, to name a few, in Southern California. Since 2024, Choose Fitness at Westminster Mall closed. The Westminster Mall was slated to be redeveloped in 2025. I've also heard that the Macy's is also slated to close by 2026. I read that the reason this mall is such a disaster is that the property has many owners. The Sears wings was sold to a developer who is pushing for the rest of the project. Target owns their own building, and I think the whole thing crosses 4 or 5 property lines. It's a mess, and that does not bode well for redevelopment. The only way it's going to work is if they can get one firm to buy out everyone else, and that could also mean a lot of money. Since the beginning of 2024, rumors have floated around saying that the Westminster Mall is closing. I wanted to visit this mall for the last time if that was the case. What I found was that it's very much still open in 2025, or at the time of this video, in January of 2025. Like so many comments in my last video, it does seem pretty dead. What you see is exactly how the Westminster Mall looks like around 2 in the afternoon on a Saturday. There are a ton of empty storefronts that can be found throughout the mall, but there are still some companies that are still hanging on at this mall. Target has closed its mall entrance and is only accessible through the outside. Macy's and JCPenney still have entrances into their stores from the mall. Bath & Body Works, Merle Norman, and a handful of other name brand stores are still in there, but there are mostly mom and pop shops that still litter this mall. The carousel is still operating, although the escalators don't seem to work. The empty Lux Buffet restaurant sits vacant next to the Macy's store upstairs. I also saw an empty Fredericks of Hollywood store on the ground level next to Macy's. It is truly sad to see the state of this mall and what it is now, especially when I read all of the comments about how this mall meant so much to so many over the years. The last time I'd been to this mall was in September of 2023, so it has been over a year and a half. Has things changed? I would say not really. It's still dead and more stores have since closed. The first level is littered with closed storefronts. There are a few stores that are still open, but those are far and few. Most of their former names have been taken off with the exception of Fredericks of Hollywood. I don't even know they were still around. The stores that are still left are discount liquidation stores that look like they got their inventory from former Amazon returns and discounted pallets. Stuff you would find at your local swap meet. A few of you have commented this place is dead. I would have to agree. Back in September of 2024, it was announced that the mall was in the process of being sold, although I have not seen any information on that. In 2014, the property was appraised at $171 million. Its valuation has since dropped 39% to $104 million. The 41,000 square foot John's Incredible Pizza, which opened in 2018, has also closed, even though the signage is still there, and it looks like it's still part of the mall. I saw that the people were still leaving reviews on Yelp up until about January of 2024. I decided to climb the broken escalator and check out what is left of the food court on the former Sears side. And as you can see, it is pretty dead. By my count, there were about 5 restaurants that were left in the food court. And even then, the place was still pretty empty, with restaurant employees just sitting around. Probably the most notable restaurant in the food court is Genghis Khan, which is usually pretty popular. But even that was empty. In fact, I don't even think the Teppan was even on. This is probably the last time we'll be visiting the Westminster Mall. And who knows, it may be closed this year and the land repurposed for something else. Congratulations, you made it this far into the video.
When I find you.
Pop quiz, hot shot.
So let's see how close you were paying attention to my video. So how many anchor stores closed in this mall? So if your answer is 6, give yourself a hand. You were paying attention. Thanks for watching. So what do you remember about this mall? Leave a comment or some more details that I may have missed, or maybe even a suggestion for a future mall video you would like to see. Don't forget to hit that like button and please subscribe to Eric C. Productions. Thanks for watching.